Hi everyone, hashtag B1 Less News. We've graduated to hashtag Vaxxed, V-A-X-X-E-D, for the movie that is premiering today, all about the hashtag CDC whistleblower. So it all started in August 29th, 2014, and I'm here with just a small but the tightest, chorused group of our little engine that could. Timothy Welsh at Tanner's Dad, and Candace Estave at CES Dave, and Kelly Fincher at Healthy Orange will be joining us. But can we start with just what are you guys thinking and feeling? For me, this is a total tipping point.
I'm so excited. I am so excited, and I'm so grateful to Dr. Andrew Wakefield and Del Bigtree and his whole crew of people, Polly Tommy, Karen Kane, Brian Hooker. Thank you guys so much. This is what we've been waiting for.
And thank you, huge thank you to Cinema Libre, which was the distribution company that when this film was selected for Tribeca, and then there was so much pushback that they unselected it within 4 or 5 days. They had it at the Angelica with a K, theater group in New York, who is over the moon to have Vaxxed, but we're also over the moon that they're having us for a 2-week run starting today, April 1st. Get your tickets at vaxxed.com, V-A-X-X-E-D. You can buy your tickets there. We have hundreds of people standing by to go to the theaters to get the tickets if they're not available, but also if people want to basically make donations to the success of the film, we who can't be in New York can buy up the tickets, especially the early showings, except for on Saturday and Sunday. So, for example, 11 a.m. on a Monday, buy some tickets, because that's how we get this to go forward, is filling up those theaters. And we know we have the people in New York who are chomping at the bit to go, so we're just buying up tickets at vaxxed.com. Timothy, I'd like you to speak now, please, because we have over 2 billion impressions. That's billion with a B for hashtag CDC whistleblower and all the other hashtags that we work on. And Tim, that's just totally based on your expertise and your hard work. And I could cry thinking about the little partnership that we've developed over the year and a half. But please speak to what this means to you, Timothy.
This is definitely a marathon. I think that the big thing about this movie, again, the ability of free speech, the fact that laws have been broken and not pursued, the fact that there is so much conflict of interest that the people, for example, on ABC, Dr. Besser is coming back and critiquing the movie without seeing it, but he comes from the CDC. And so many of those relationships we've been able to discover now, especially digging into the Tribeca refusal to show. We've seen those things are out there. For the last 2 years, we've seen ourselves censored in so many different ways. It's just nice to see this film coming out that brings forth all the information about this fraud and malfeasance at the CDC.
And it's just everything coming back to roost in a good way from our perspective and the way that I see it. I mean, we've been working, again, it's like 18, 19, I can't even count anymore how many months straight, just really trying to push for parents being aware that what they may think they know about vaccines may be slightly different than what the truth is, and they simply won't know until either A, they do the research, or B, their child is damaged, and then they do the research. And our goal is that they research first. Because if you research and then you choose to vaccinate, and then your child is damaged, you at least feel good that it was still the best decision you could make. But if your child's damaged by a vaccine, and they pay $100 million a year to those who are damaged, they paid about $3.5 billion with a B to people who have been damaged, and it's just heartbreaking as a parent if you don't feel like you really assessed the risk to benefit, because there's no question there's a risk to benefit. But what we put forth is the fact that the way that you're probably analyzing the risk to benefit is different than if you really even spent 2 hours just trying to look for a study. Just the studies that would make you feel comfortable doing whatever one vaccine you're thinking about doing with your child. Because why would you ever do more than one at once, number one. So the Vax premiere one has already happened at 11 a.m. in New York. The rest are happening all day, and then tonight they have their big sort of question and answer with the producers and the directors and the people that starred in it. That's all going on in New York. Run down to the Angelica with the K Theater, because there's probably tickets that have been bought in your name. So I want to play this. This is something we've seen floating on Twitter. So watch this and enjoy.
I'm in a New York state of mind. Seen all the movie stars in their fancy cars and their limousines. Heard the Rockies, the evergreen. All I know what I need is I don't want to waste all time. I'm in the New York state of mind. It was so easy living day by day, out of touch with rhythm blues. But now I need a little give and take. New York Times, Daily News. Comes down to reality, and it's fine with me, 'cause I'm let it slide. Don't care if it's Chinatown or on the riverside. I don't have any reasons. Let them all behind. Just in the New York State.
Omicron. Wow. What do you guys think? Click here, buy tickets. You guys still there? Did you mute? I will just keep going.
Buy them all, Dana. Buy them all.
Okay, so I'm just going to go through a few other things that people need to be aware of. We used to have our tweeters go to the photos thread for whatever hashtag, and it's become abundantly clear that we are being totally censored on the thread. As you can see, whenever you see this little birdie at the bottom, it means that Twitter's saying these are the only photos that have ever been tweeted with the hashtag Vaxxed. Well, so let's just show you, we'll demonstrate for you that we know this is a lie. This is hashtag Vaxxed on Google Images. So this is how clearly you can tell that this is a lie, because probably 90% of what you see in mainstream media, you will also see tweeted, so it will be reflected in Twitter as well. And none of this is there. So this is the power of Vaxxed. This is something that we dreamed about having happen and took forever. We certainly got hashtag CDC whistleblower to this point, but to have this hashtag that's only a few days old, a little over a week and a half old, do this is completely unheard of. What do you think of this, Timothy? I think Vax has almost become a word associated with I don't know, just everything that's wrong in America. I think vax is just going to become its own little word. So that's what's going on there. But here's, to compare it, here's hashtag CDC whistleblower. And this is what you can do to get the memes that are out there. And be one less for the photos there. And oh, that's totally different than it was yesterday. How interesting. Interesting. I think you're being, okay, there you go. Break a billion. This is another thread. So Be One Less is being censored. Did you see that, Timothy?
Yes, it very definitely is.
Wow, because yesterday it had all these funky memes, and now Be One Less is naked. So do you think they're censoring your account and Candace, and that's a pretty, wow. I'm a little bit in shock.
I think all my memes are still there on my page.
On your page they're there, but we depend on the algorithm to help us out. You see, like, here's Ask Louder. What are some other ones? Hear Us. So you just use CDC Whistleblower as your base, and then you add some of these secondary ones, and you'll get different visuals. Like this one's all about the whistleblower right here, and it's an article that Marcella Piper Terry wrote. Okay, so now let's do a couple more videos, and then let's get to work on what they would be tweeting. So we did the world premiere. This is another one that we found. Let's just play this.
Sous le ciel de Paris s'envole une chanson. Elle est née d'aujourd'hui dans le cœur d'un garçon. Sous le ciel de Paris marchent des amoureux. Leur bonheur se construit sur un air fait beau. Sous le pont de Bercy, un philosophe assis, de musiciens, quelques badauds, puis les gens par milliers. Sous le ciel de Paris jusqu'au soir chanté, l'hymne d'un peuple épris de sa réussite. Près de Notre-Dame, parfois coule un drame, oui mais à Paname, tout peut s'arranger. Sous le ciel de Paris coule un fleuve joyeux. Il endort dans la nuit les clochards et les gueux. Sous le ciel de Paris les oiseaux du bon Dieu viennent du monde entier pour bavarder entre eux. Et le ciel de Paris a son secret pour lui depuis 20 siècles.
So that's kind of those international memes that you found, Candace. That one's cool. Okay, so then this is the one from the other day that can you explain what's going on here, Tim? With the Bob Wright one that we found?
Matt Lauer from NBC keeps trying to put away the controversial issue of vaccines and autism and tries to dismiss everything out of hand. And Bob Wright really was, for the first time, really came forward and said that there is still a lot of issues that are at question, being questioned. And so somebody took his video with Matt Lauer and then matched it to his daughter Katie, and it's very interesting to see how Katie views things versus the beginning of the questioning that was brought up by Bob Wright.
And then since this video came out, I've seen other people do videos, which is amazing. And then I've also seen another interview with Bob Wright where you can barely hear him say it, but they basically say, and Bob, this vaccine autism thing split up your family, right? So it's just all really interesting. So let's just play it. Kyle, that's not going to be far enough. Trying to play it.
Show our former boss, Bob Wright. He served as president and CEO of NBC. He also co-founded Autism Speaks.
I had no idea that he was vaccinated without my knowledge or consent. When he was 2 months old was the worst time. He got 6 vaccines in one visit. He was screaming like somebody was killing him for 12 hours. And he had a fever of 104, and he wouldn't do anything for that entire time except scream. Screams, and then he just passed out after 12 hours.
But it has people asking the question again, do childhood vaccines cause autism? As a man who's done so much in the effort to educate people, what's the definitive answer?
Then I went back to my pediatrician after that, and she assured me that was, maybe more into the extreme, but a normal reaction and nothing to be concerned about.
There is no definitive answer, but we have not been able to determine that autism is caused by vaccines.
And it's amazing to me to this day that I believe that, and yet I did, and we continued vaccinating him.
However, there are lots of issues having to do with the vaccine safety program.
Unequivocally, you have studied vaccinated versus unvaccinated.
We have not studied vaccinated versus unvaccinated.
Well, okay, never mind. Stop there. That was the meaning of my question.
And we proposed, along with a series of doctors, some changes that could be made. If vaccine safety, it's a passive program, and if you made it an active program, I think that would make it better for everybody. But it's
so painful. It's just beyond painful to think that I, as his mother, took him to the pediatrician. I held him down, screaming, and allowed this to happen to him. I mean, it's so hurtful for me to think about that. I really fought it. I fought it for probably a year.
I understand when your grandson was diagnosed, Christian.
He was 2.5.
Right, and there really wasn't a place to turn back then. People weren't talking about autism the way they talk about it today.
When he was 2, he started losing language, and he would look at me with these blank looks. I remember looking about looking online at the conventional sources that a parent would look to for advice, and of course they were all very reassuring. Of course, it has nothing to do with vaccines, and it's perfectly safe. And
help me with this controversy that's come up again in the last couple of days about autism and childhood vaccines. There's a film out now. One of the people behind it is Dr. Andrew Wakefield, who's been watching.
He's so much better, thank goodness, because of Dr. Wakefield and Dr. Kriegsman, but I only wish he could have gotten the help he needed it too, rather than we didn't meet Dr. Wakefield and Dr. Kriegsman until he was almost 5, and those were 3 years of hell.
Yeah.
He was sick all the time, in and out of hospitals. His GI problems were horrific.
What has been consistently shown is that the findings in that paper were absolutely correct. That what we see is that children with autism, particularly those with regressive autism, very commonly have some sort of gastrointestinal distress. That's the most common finding now in autism research.
There is $100 million a year that the vaccine court pays out to people from damages with vaccines, not specifically autism, but a lot of them. So there's always going to be an issue with vaccines because all vaccines are the same and all people receiving them are different.
I mentioned.
Before Christian was vaccinated, I had a friend and she's like, "You're not going to vaccinate, are you?" I'm like, "Of course I am. You're I'm not one of those loony vaccine people. It's so humbling. And guess whose child's not autistic?
If a parent watching this now says, just give me one, where should I start? What should I do?
Meet other parents with children like yourself. Because it's so isolating, just going to doctor after doctor and feeling like you get no answers and no help. It's scary. I get scared.
Come out, wherever you are. I love that. Oh, look, it goes to a buy tickets thing. So, why don't you guys talk for a second while I queue up this other one that someone sent us with Katie. Timothy, tell people how to tweet.
It's more critical now than ever. And when we say tweet, we mean every social media platform that you can get on. Anything that you're comfortable with, taking it to Sunday school, face-to-face, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Snapchat, anything you can do to take the pictures, the memes, the messages to get people now to get excited about this movie and to really get people to investigate the things that are going on with your health. The people
you still there?
That are going on today, and I really
that are a little bit older remember
really need to be
healthy
more aware. And this is really rising. Look how hard it was for us to get a diagnosis. It was so hard. So numbers are exploding.
Yeah, and when you came up here, you said to me, what?
I have to refute what the doctor said vehemently. The vaccine connection has not been refuted at all. In fact, we give 37 vaccines to babies under the age of 18 months. Nobody has shown that that's safe, a wise idea, the multiple vaccines at once. My son is sick all the time. He has constant immune reactions to everything. His allergies are exploding. I mean, if you look at food allergies, asthma, autism, it's all connected.
Well, I'm going to let you, I said I was going to let you say it because I said when you got home, you would be crazed that you didn't say it.
Thank you so much.
She wanted to say it, and I wanted to.
Does that make Oprah an anti-vaxxer? I don't know. Okay, so Timothy, sorry, it queued up, so I go back to what you were saying about Twitter and all those other things, what people can do. Let's look at Tanner's Dad so you can see what a good tweet looks like. And the only thing we're after is impressions, and all impressions means is that more people saw that thing in their thread. So can you explain this tweet, Tim?
Well, basically, a visual goes about 40 to 60% further as far as more people will recognize it, see it, and if all possible, if you can get a face in the picture, it makes it go further. It's just like that's the reason Facebook works. We really would like to have a link that goes back to vax.com. That's where you can get the tickets and learn about the movie right now. We would like to have the hashtags that are relevant to what you're doing. Really include hashtag Vax, VAXXED, and CDC whistleblower as a baseline, and then always be tagging and including people who have 15 to 45 million viewers. I mean, other people are searching for those, and those people are the ones that are kind of the movers and shakers. When they do tweet what we put out there, it really gets amplified quite a bit. And always include an action item. If you use the pleases and thank yous and please retweet, please share, it really moves the tweets as well.
And there's no question when I look on the top tweets thread that the ones that have either a video or a simple photo go a lot farther. So you always want the anchor hashtag right now is Vaxxed, VAXXED. The anchor link is vax.com, because for the next few days, the most important thing that people are going to do is buy tickets to fill the theater so it can go worldwide in these theaters, because that's all these distribution companies care about, is that they fill seats. And all we care about is that people get to see this movie. So when you use these visuals, it goes a lot farther. This right here, by the way, is the autism rates in one school district in California, Los Angeles School District, and they have 14,315 kids on the spectrum. Yeah, people, you got to see this movie. It's just super exciting. If you're in New York, go to Angelica and get your tickets. go to Angelica on Facebook and make sure you give them a good review because they were brave to have done this. This is at CES Dave's thread. She seems to have found a bunch of, oh, look, they've got, it looks like they have who to tweet to in the top corner and then a resource for that country. These are pretty cool, Candace. So they're starting to make a bunch of noise outside, so I'm going to let you guys all go. You know, I would love to say we're going to do another 182 of these straight, but instead I'm going to say for me this feels a little bit like graduation day, and I'm going to put my party hat on and just celebrate that things are going so amazing. Anything else, Timothy?
The way I finish them all, praying for our country, our children, our families, and may you help end this craziness that's going on at the moment.
Candace, anything?
Yeah, a big shout out to Jeffrey Jackson and the Health Ranger. They did some really great videos here recently.
They did some great videos, amazing. And thank you so much to Andy Wakefield and Polly Tommy, who, I've been doing a version of this for 14 years, and she's been doing it for 18 and him for 20, and they have just not stopped at all. And this movie is a result of their perseverance. So we will see you at #Vaxxed on all the platforms, and we will see you at Vaxxed.com, and we will see you at the movies.